Do you want to listen to one person stumble her way through improvising an audio drama through the medium of actual play? Roll by Myself is a solo actual play where I, Sharik Manet, craft a story by playing a different solo tabletop role-playing game every month. Here's 3 out-of-context clips.
How are we supposed to know if we're all suddenly criminals or not?
Everybody died. I'm sorry. Do I have to do content warnings for this show? Fuck, I'm so scared. No. Wow, weren't those funny and or emotional? Find out more on my website, shahik.com. That's shahik.com. Or just look up Roll by Myself on your favorite podcatcher. That's ROLL by myself.
This Snazzy Tapier production is made possible by our patrons. If you'd like to join them, head over to patreon.com/snazzytapier to get member shoutouts, early access to new episodes, access to the members-only Discord, and our exclusive monthly newsletter. A special thank you to Snazzy supporters Matt and Ollie of the Beholder for keeping this show on the road. Now, on with the podcast. Hello and welcome to A Game of One's Own, a podcast all about solo and duet tabletop role-playing games. I'm your host, Maddy, my pronouns are they, them, and today I'm playing Pirouette, a solo horror TTRPG by InnocentGoblin. In this game, I'll be playing a ballet dancer who discovers that their first professional performance is becoming an eldritch nightmare. They must face their audience, an amorphous, sinister entity who wants nothing more than for them to fail. To play, I need a way to record my character's experiences, a tarot deck with both minor and major arcana, and a tumbling block tower. I'll be drawing cards to act as prompts, recording the disparate thoughts of my dancer as they perform, and pulling blocks from the tower to decide their final fate. Before we go any further, this game deals with some distressing themes, and as with every episode, there are content warnings in the show notes if you need them. To create my character, I need to answer a series of questions. Firstly, I need to decide on their name, appearance, and pronouns. I'm going to call my character Sylvie. Her pronouns are she, they. She has wavy red hair, lots of freckles, and misty grey eyes. Next, I need to consider whether they have any family, and whether they have anyone waiting for them backstage. I'll say that Sylvie has a mother called Camille, but never knew her father. Camille is waiting for her backstage, along with her best friend Angelique. Now I need to consider what drives Sylvie as a character. What inspired them into ballet? Did they learn from childhood, or did they start later in life? I think that Sylvie saw a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, the 2-act ballet based on Shakespeare's play, as a young child. She was completely captivated. She began lessons soon after, and immediately displayed a talent for ballet. Lastly, I need to decide on Sylvie's pre-show ritual. I think that during the performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream that inspired her, the dancer playing Titania threw dried flowers into the audience. Sylvie managed to catch one and has kept it ever since. She keeps it in a small, ornate box and takes it out before every show. Before I start my performance, I need to determine my routine by drawing 7 minor arcana cards. I can arrange the 7 cards in any order I like, keeping in mind that the higher the value of the card, the more difficult the move is to perform. To see a photo of my minor arcana spread and the cards I draw throughout the game, you can follow the link in the show notes. Next, I need to shuffle the major arcana into the deck, and the performance begins. For each move in my routine, I need to draw a card. If it is a minor arcana card, I need to look at its value. If it's higher or the same value, I succeed on the move. Also, if it's the same suit, I perform the move flawlessly. However, if the value is lower than the move card, I have performed the move incorrectly. I can check the injury table to see how catastrophic the error is, and check the suit of the card for a prompt of why the mistake was made. If I draw a major arcana card, Sylvie's mind drifts, thinking of precious memories that inspire her to continue, or traumatic thoughts that damage her confidence. Each major arcana card has a prompt which can change depending on whether the card is upright or reversed. For each move I perform, I need to draw from the block tower a number of times equal to the amount of exhaustion I have. At the beginning of the game, I only have 1 exhaustion, but this can be increased by injuries or certain major arcana cards. Sylvie's final fate will be determined by the number of injuries she has and whether or not the block tower has fallen. So, without further ado, it's time to meet Sylvie as she begins her performance. See you on the other side. I feel the eyes of the audience on me as I step out onto the stage. This is the moment I've been waiting for. I extend my arms in a flawless port de bras and feel a rush of exhilaration. This is the most important night of my life, and I intend to make the most of it. I can picture my mother watching from the wings, her eyes transfixed. But casting my gaze across the audience, I know something is wrong. Their eyes are glowing with a sickly yellow light. Their wide smiles are filled with pointed carnivore's teeth. But that can't be right. I mustn't think about them. The dance is all that matters. Next, a jeté. I throw my left leg out to the side and transfer my weight from my right leg to my left. Another perfect move. I hear a small delighted gasp from the wings. That must be Angelique, my best friend in the whole world. She wouldn't miss tonight for anything, and I'd do anything for her. The audience seems tense with anticipation, almost disappointed at my impeccable performance thus far. Their long spindly fingers tap at the armrests of their red velvet seats impatiently. Now, a frappé. I strike the ground with my foot, tap, causing some of the audience to jolt upright. It is not as effortlessly elegant as I had hoped, but still exemplary. I can tell the audience are growing impatient. They want blood. I can no longer ignore the malice oozing from the auditorium, from the stalls to the balcony. My heart begins to race, not from exertion, but from fear. I mustn't let them see it. I have spent years training for this, ignoring the boredom and the exhaustion, painting over them with pastel strokes of beauty, power, and grace. They will never see me tremble. Another port de bras. I could do this in my sleep. My mother and Angelique are counting on me, and I will not let them down. They have been there through every breakdown, every late night, every setback. They have given me so much, and they need to know how grateful I am. I have made so many sacrifices to be on this stage, so many paths untrodden, so many friendships and romances that withered away without water or light. I say that Angelique is my best friend. She's really my only friend. The only one who could put up with my single-minded focus and obsession. But because of that, her friendship is worth so much more. She's been there since the beginning. My mother took us both to see A Midsummer Night's Dream, the ballet, of course. I was utterly entranced, especially when Titania threw a bouquet of dried flowers into the audience and I managed to catch one, a cornflower. I've kept it in a box in my backpack ever since and held it close before every performance. Since then, I have trained every single day. Thousands of hours dedicated to one purpose. My mother tried to encourage me to take time off, travel, meet people. But I could never rest for long. Then one day, she brought a box of photos down from the attic. Photos of my father. She told me that the father I had never known, the father who had died when I was young, had also been a ballet dancer. I asked her why she had never told me this before. She didn't answer, but I could tell that she didn't want my father's legacy to weigh me down. It didn't weigh me down. It propelled me forward. I trained even harder. Ballet is in my blood. It gave my life's passion a whole new meaning. For his sake, I must not fail. I extend my leg to perform a fouette en tournant, propelling myself into a spin. The audience becomes a blur as I turn and turn. The momentum becomes overwhelming. I try to disconnect from my surroundings, to forget about the hungry eyes of the audience, the legacy that brought me here, the people who made my dream possible. And this is what causes me to stumble. I lose control of the spin and tumble onto the stage. A sprain? Perhaps worse. I'm used to disguising pain, so I keep going, knowing that I have no other option. The audience is enraptured. A smattering of applause ripples across the auditorium. It sounds like the chittering of insects. Now, the penultimate move of my routine. A demi-détourné, I lift my heels and turn 90 degrees, but I catch sight of a member of the audience in the front row. Their tongue is extended, unnaturally long, reaching out towards the stage. Panic grips me, and I slip, banging my knee on the stage with a loud thump. I can already feel the bruise forming. I hear my mother call out my name, "Sylvie!" If Angelique says anything, I don't hear it. I try to stand up, to continue on to the final part of the routine, but my body feels heavy. My eyelids can barely stay open. A decade's worth of exhaustion hits me in a single second. The audience revels in my imperfection with screeching cheers. I slip and crumple onto the floor, hitting my head. As my eyelids flutter for the final time, I see a writhing, undulating mass flow out of the stalls and tower over me. It has hundreds of faces, and each one is ravenous. As a glistening limb made of uncountable arms reaches out for me, everything goes black. It's over. That's all the time we have for this episode of A Game of One's Own. If you want to try Pirouette for yourself, there's a link in the podcast description to the game's itch page. You can also find out more about all the other brilliant games by InnocentGoblin by following the links in the description. Thank you for listening to this episode of A Game of One's Own. Our theme music, as always, is by James Barbarossa, with additional music by Kevin MacLeod. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/snazzytapier for all the bonus goodies. You can find the show on social media at A Game of One's Own and find out more about my work at snazzytapier.com or at Maddy is Abstract on social media. See you next time for more weird stories.